What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video today. I want to talk about more trade talk. We talked about Brandon Ayuk just a little while ago, but there's some other stuff that happened yesterday that I kind of thought was interesting, could have, implications when it comes to the Colts. When you think about the Colts' needs coming up in the draft, we've talked about cornerback, wide receiver, defensive end, safety, right? Those are the four positions we're really looking at. So when the news came out yesterday that both T. Higgins, Trey Hendrickson were looking for a trade from the Bengals, looking to get out because the Bengals won't give them the contract they want. I thought that was interesting and something to think of. And we talked plenty about T. Higgins and the possibility of going and getting T. And kind of like we talked about Brandon Ayuk, I think when you go get T. Higgins, you can give up less draft capital, but you're going to have to give up. I mean, T. Higgins is going to get big time money, like probably Amon-Ra St. Brown kind of money, even though he's been a number two for most of his career because Jamar Chase came in and took over for the one. Like T. Higgins is a one. He's going to warrant huge money like that. So I think T. Higgins could be a bit expensive. How many years would it be? Would be the real question. I assume he's looking for long-term stability and trying to get a big contract. 4 or 5 year contract worth a bunch of money is probably what T. Higgins is looking for. So when you look at like if he would take a 2 year deal with Anthony Richardson on his rookie contract, like that'd be cool. Paying receivers, Michael Pittman Jr. and T. Higgins as much money as you're going to be paying them, I'd be cool with that, and I think that'd be okay. But the way it is, like T. Higgins gonna want more money or gonna want more years on plus the money. So I just don't know if getting T. Higgins is worth it. As nice as it would be to have him, and I was beating the drum for going and getting him before. Like I just don't know at this point if it's worth going and getting T. Higgins. But Trey Hendrickson is an interesting case, and this is a guy that's coming off a career best 17 and a half sacks last season since joining the Bengals in 2021. He is fifth in the NFL in sacks. Okay, he had 14 sacks in 2021, 2020. He had 13 and a half. This guy that gets to the quarterback a lot. And a lot of people don't talk about him. I feel like we didn't talk about him a whole lot last year as NFL fans, as somebody that got 17 and a half sacks, very under the radar, probably because the Bengals weren't doing very well for a lot of the year. But I know against the Colts, he played very well. So again, 17 and a half sacks last year. He's an absolute game wrecker. So him requesting a trade, I thought was interesting this upcoming season. It's the last year of his contract, and he's making $15 million. So I think with that, right, the Colts currently have $28 million, just over $28 million in cap space. And when you look at it, Kwity Paye makes $4.34 million. So in turn, if you traded Hendrickson and put Kwity Paye in the deal, you're really getting Hendrickson for, right around 10.5 mil off of the current cap, right? Then that still leaves the Colts with somewhere around $17 million, 17, $18 million to be able to spend. And obviously some of that's going to be for the rookies, but then you still have enough money where you can go and get a guy like Quandre Diggs, maybe. I think that is a good possibility for the Colts. Kwity Paye in the last year of his contract for the Colts doesn't seem like the Colts are going to pick up his 5th-year option. So, in turn, if you traded Kwity Paye for Trey Hendrickson, the question then becomes like, can Trey Hendrickson be versatile enough to play in that Leo spot, right? That Leo spot plays on left side of the line. Samson Ebicom was playing on the right side of the line all year last year. So can Hendrickson play on the left side of the line? That's really the only question. But overall, like I think bringing Hendrickson in, and if he's on team, he's better than Kwity Paye. I just think he's better than Kwity Paye. Both guys on the last year of their current contracts. And yes, Hendrickson's more money, but he's a better player. You're going to get more production from Trey Hendrickson, at least in the ways that you want, right? He can play in the run game just like Kwity Paye. but he's also getting after the passer a lot more. He's bigger, and has a bigger frame, so he can get his hands up and make a quarterback have to reset himself. Like those kinds of things matter. And Trey Hendrickson is no stranger to being able to do that. Again, he can be a game wrecker, man. He doesn't get talked about a whole lot. But he's somebody that's been very good again, coming off 17 and a half sack season. So I think if you're able to give up Quiddy Pay and who knows what the draft capital will be. I saw that they would want a pick inside the top 10. I think that's a little far fetched. But I think if you're able to give up Quiddy Pay and then you can throw in a third rounder or a fourth rounder, I really want the third rounder. I think there are going to be a lot of good players still available in the third round when the Colts pick at 82. So if they can keep that pick, I'd rather keep that pick. So, if they can give up Quiddy Pay, a fourth rounder this year, and a sixth rounder this year, right? I don't know if that's the deal that would get it done for what the Bengals are wanting, but maybe that's something that can happen. Whatever the trade package would have to be, I'd be cool if we traded Quiddy Pay for Trey Hendrickson. Again, the price for T. Higgins a bit too steep for me, even though he has been very good, has 2,000-yard seasons under his belt. His rookie year without Joe Burrow, he had 908 yards. So if Joe Burrow had played the entire season, he's probably getting 2,000 yards in his first 3 seasons. Has some injuries in 2023, but a very good receiver. I just don't know if he's completely worth it for what the Colts would have to give up in draft capital and money. But Trey Hendrickson is somebody that I think is very interesting. Also had a career high in tackles to go along with the career high in sacks. So I think Trey Hendrickson is at the peak of his career. If we can get him for one season, right, just swap a guy that's on his last year of his contract for another guy on last year of his contract. Bring him in, see what he can do, see if he can help us be better. I think he could. You could still have room to sign Quandre Diggs and all the rookies. So, of course, I'd like to know what your opinion is of this down in the comment section. With it being draft day, there's bound to be some more stuff coming out. So make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you get notified anytime any more of these videos do come out. Of course, I appreciate you stopping by for another video. As always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.